I'm thinking about trust today and where we get our information, or where I get my information. I'm doing a lot of digging right now on stuff for my own health, stuff for the channel. I want to give the most complete and accurate information that I can here, so I'm double checking myself. And, I feel like I can't trust any source fully. Certainly, I have had to check my AI, the Claude that I use, many times, and I have to have it back up its information with sources. But also, there's a lot of stuff that's just been hidden in the world of health for a long time. In addition to that, even well-meaning practitioners and experts can not give us the information that's right for us. I first started really thinking about this and wanting to do this episode because the last several days I have not been feeling well. And I'm of course, I just start thinking why, what's going on? What am I putting in my body? What am I not doing right? And I realized that it was probably a product that I'm using as a binder that I got from my herbalist that is not food grade. So it's for cosmetics and stuff, you can use it, but you're not supposed to ingest it. And when I bought it, I told the herbalist exactly what I was using it for and that I was going to be ingesting it. And he was like, yeah, great, this is perfect for that. And then I got home and I realized it didn't say food grade, and I decided to trust the herbalist. Now, when I look back, this herbalist who, we go in there and we tell them a little bit about what's going on with us, and we are expecting them to consult with us. And they've given me incorrect information several times. Their products are great, but I'm asking them for much more consultation than just buying a product from their store. And so I'm just realizing okay, between the AI that will completely confabulate, it has told me stuff that is just completely inaccurate. And then I check it and I say, and it'll say, oh yeah, I just totally made that up. Between that and even, doctors and specialists in certain areas, they don't always give us, accurate information or complete information. And I see how over the years I have really relied on them so much to give me the right information. And I just, we just kind of sometimes blindly take their direction. And I've done that so many times. Now that I've made a lot of mistakes and I'm more confident in myself and I know how to listen to my body more, I'm not doing that as much. And it's not bad to do that either. I think it's just, it gives us information about where we are in trusting and being connected to listening to our bodies and what our bodies need. So I think we also do this with doctors, and we've done this for a long time, in my grandparents' generation and even maybe my parents' generation, it was just the doctor knew everything, But mostly the doctor's training is in identifying symptoms, mostly that we tell them. So if we're disconnected from our bodies, we're not even necessarily giving them the full picture anyways. Diagnosing something, so hoping that the symptoms line up to, it's like a plug and play, these symptoms means this diagnosis, and then giving us pharmaceuticals mostly to get rid of the symptoms. I mean, that's listen, I know that doctors do a lot more than that, but what we're doing is I see how we also go to our doctors to help us feel well, when really they're much more about keeping us from dying, which they do quite well, than they are about having our bodies fully function well. And we do the same thing. I'm not knocking doctors. They have done extraordinary things for humans for the last few hundred years at least. And we do the same thing though with the herbalist, for example, going there and asking them to develop a protocol for me, or to confirm, something. Actually, I have a rash on my back, not a rash, just splotches, sunspots. And I went there and I told the herbalist just a few days ago what I had. And like, he was like, oh yeah, you just use this calendula oil or lotion just for irritation and it's fine. But it's like a whole other thing that's going on with me that he's not going to diagnose me with. And actually, he gave me what I think is probably incorrect information about that. But I was going to him, asking him to do a job that he's not necessarily qualified to do. And I know that all of us experts, or all of us with knowledge and information, we want to help solve people's problems and give answers to people. But I think it's up to us to really look at, okay, what is this person's role? So, any kind of, a general practitioner versus a gastroenterologist or any other doctor, surgeon, etc., herbalist, Chinese medicine practitioner, chiropractor, whatever, like what is their specialty? What is the world through which they are going to try and treat you? And really be aware that this is only one area that they're looking through their little specialty lens. And that the one who can holistically see and feel what is happening in our bodies is each one of us. So I'm really trying to see where I'm leaning on an expert in a particular area and what their sphere of expertise can contribute to my health, and not overreach or ask them to do something outside of their scope. Gosh, think of like any other job. This happens to me all the time. I've had a career in music, but I do very specific synchronization licensing. It's a specific slice of music law where I am licensing and composing music to be synchronized with visuals, so for advertising. But I've had people for my whole career be like, oh, Sam's the music person. Like, can you book this festival for me? Like live acts for a festival or something. And I'm like, that's like just totally outside my scope. So we're kind of doing that same thing with a lot of the practitioners we work with. I guess that's part of why I wanted to do this channel as well, because every practitioner I've spoken to who has a very specific expertise is always speaking to me from that expertise. And while it may or may not help me, it's been a piece of a much larger puzzle. And then I have to go looking all over the world for other, practices that might be able to help me. And then they look at my health from their little specific little lens, and their little slice of the health world. So I really think we need to be seeing our health from the 30,000 foot view and listening to our bodies, and as much as we can know about different therapies available to us, think about or feel what is the right therapy for that ailment, for that moment in your life, for whatever you're dealing with. So I just wanted to do this channel so that I could show people this kind of menu of options that are available to us. Because again, like you're going to go to your one practitioner and you're like, yeah. And then you might spend 6 months and $6,000 on something. And they, the practitioner is very convinced that it's going to help you, and, at no fault to their own. But it may or may not. So I'm just thinking about trust these days and how, I can be the one in the driver's seat and do my best to arm myself with the best information I can find. I have to ask questions about if that feels right to me. Does this make sense? So in a lot of what I'm doing is, okay, like, high cholesterol. My friend tells me he has high cholesterol and his doctor's watching his numbers. And I'm like, okay, what is high cholesterol? So I go in and I start researching, and I'm using Claude, and I'm asking it to back it up with research papers. I find a lot of Western medicine research papers on Google Scholar, and then I'll go look at some other, traditions. I usually have it bring in Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, and find out like what is happening in the body when we say high cholesterol. And then the treatments that might be available, do those make sense for the mechanics of what are happening in the body? So, excuse me. Yeah, I guess question everything and find out the whole gamut of potential options for how we can treat ourselves. And again, I'm finding a lot of the time that some of the things that have been most helpful for me are some of the simplest, and it's really about having a lifestyle that supports my body, getting rid of the things that it needs to, processing the things that it needs to, having the nutrients that it needs so that each little machine in my body is able to work at its optimal. Yeah, so that's that. And remember, you're the one in charge. Listen to yourself. Hone that skill of listening to what your body is asking for, and make your own choices.